So in this video, we're going to talk some more about linear inequalities, and basically what's going to happen is we're going to make them a little bit more complicated than what we did with them last week, which of course is more fun whenever it's more complicated. Just kidding. But maybe. So like every lesson that we do with linear inequalities, I'm going to have this reminder, because the only way you'll do this is if you get it into your head that this is the thing you have to do. As you're working the problem, if you multiply or divide by a negative number to solve the inequality, you have to flip the inequality symbol. And then that's the only thing that is different so far from equations. Also here on the right, I've got a reminder spot for us to go, okay, less than is to the left. And because it's not equal to, we'd make it an open circle. Less than or equal to, also to the left, but we'd make it a filled in circle. And remember that if we're assuming, and we are, actually, that the x is on the left side, then this is pointing you in the direction that you would shade. So these would all have numbers on the right. Yeah, that would tell us where the dot goes. Greater than goes to the right and has an open circle, and then greater than or equal to has a filled in circle and goes to the right. So what we want to do here is check out these examples, solve and graph each inequality are the directions. So if you are working these out and you're like, I just don't feel like I have enough room, by all means, use a piece of paper to show your work. I'd love to still see the work, but doing it on a different piece of paper is fine. So when we solved equations with variables on both sides, I told you it doesn't actually matter which way you move x or the number, which is true. And that's a little bit different here. It doesn't have to be. You can move negative 2x to the right, or you can move x to the left, and you can get the right answer. But this time we have the inequality symbol to worry about, and the fact that in order for us to use this chart, x is supposed to be on the left side. So if I move the negative 2x over to the right, then x will be on the right side. And that's not bad. We just end up flipping it at the end. So I'm just throwing that out there, that inequalities are something that I like to just move the x to the left. And it actually takes out some of the decision making, so that's nice. And that's 6 minus 3x is greater than or equal to 6. Then I'm going to subtract 6. So that's negative 3x is greater than or equal to 0. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3, or I'm going to try to with this room that I have. And because I'm dividing by a negative, the inequality flips. And I get 0, because 0 divided by anything is 0. So at 0, I'm going to put a filled in circle, and then I am going to go to the left, like so. Then we're going to look at b. b has something extra because we have 2 whole numbers here, and so that means that we need to add some like terms first. Negative 4 plus 7 is 3. So this would be negative y plus 3 is less than negative 3 minus 3y. So then I'm going to add the 3y over, which is what I would have done in an equation as well, because I like getting positives. So that's 2y. You can also, by the way, if you want to do 2 steps at once, you can say, oh, I know I need to minus 3. But if that seems like something you don't want to do, then don't do it. Your choice. Negative 3 plus negative 3 is negative 6. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 2 and get y is less than negative 3. And now we'll look at example 2. So same direction, same basic idea, but these both have parentheses. So we're going to try to deal with those correctly. When we see parentheses, we should think distributive property. And so that's going to be taking the -3 and multiplying it to both of these things inside of our parentheses, and that lets us drop the parentheses. -3 times 6 is -18. -3 times -8n is plus 24n. And then I really want to subtract the 5n over so we have a positive, but I'll go ahead and do that so that you can see how we would have to flip it around. If you do it the other way, that's fine, but this will show you what I mean. So I subtract the 5n over, I'm going to add the 18 over, and that gives me 39 plus 18, which is 57, and is greater than 24n minus 5n is 19n. So we divide both sides by 19, and that doesn't make us flip the inequality because I'm dividing by positive 19. This is 3, by the way. But either I need to flip this around, which means flipping the inequality symbol and switching the sides of n and 3, or I need to be willing to think harder about this than just looking at which way it's pointing and saying, well, if 3 is bigger than n, then I need to shade the numbers that are, I almost said it wrong. We need to shade the numbers that are less than 3, which is, what this is saying. So just kind of depends on you. If you're like, no, it seems really straightforward to be able to do it from either one, go for it. Definitely check to make sure you're doing it right, but go for it. On B, I just want to alert you to some place that you might get tripped up. I hope not, but when you look at this beginning part, you might think, oh, I can make that -2 and then distribute. But that is not the order we want to do this in because it's not correct order of operations. You would think either about parentheses or multiplication, both coming before this subtraction. And that's how we're going to do this, is that I'm going to say, let me get rid of the parentheses by timesing by -5. The 3 stays a 3 for now. And then we've got -15 plus 20m is greater than or equal to 30 plus 6m. So then we can add these like terms right here. 3 minus 15 is -12. And then we got to get those m's on one side and the numbers on the other. So I'm going to subtract 6m and add 12. Okay, so m is greater than or equal to 3, so that's a filled in dot, and we shade to the right. And that's actually all the notes. I started the practice at the bottom of this page because I felt like I had room, and that way I had more room for the problems on the next page, which is what you should do now, is practice related to this. Make sure you check your answers when you're done to see if you did it right. Thanks for watching.